Hi, I'm Troy Spencer, and I want to welcome you to another episode of True Built TV. Now that all the framing is complete, we're moving on to the interior rough work. That's all the stuff that goes on in the walls, like the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC, everything that happens prior to sheetrock. We're going to show you about that today. So when you're building a house from scratch, you need power for the workers. So they install temporary power before they can make it permanent. See these huge cables? This is what feeds the electrical panel, which feeds the electricity to the whole house. This is where the electrical meter is going to be mounted on the side of the home. This is a progress shot of the electrical work. The guys have been pulling wires from the electrical panels to all the switches and outlets throughout the house. Hey, this is Brian. He's part of the team working on the plumbing today. And so, Brian, tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, I'm doing plumbing. I'm doing some drain work today. A few more days left, and then pretty much after that, we start running water lines.
As far as the drains go, what's the most difficult part of putting in all the drain work?
The hardest part's layout, but the basement's probably the hardest, because that's like the base of everything. And then pretty much it goes quicker after that. Once you get to the first and second floor, it goes pretty smoothly. You know, think about it, you lay it out and then you put it in, right? So layout's the hardest really, layout and the basement work.
Excellent. All right, thank you. Hey, the ductwork arrived. For this project, the client wanted their HVAC system in the attic that's going to come down and service the ceiling of the first floor of the house. So we had to create these spaces, sort of hidden chases where the ductwork, this one's not finished, they've just started it, but this is going to come from the attic down this chase, down to the downstairs to do what it needs to do, branching off to feed the rooms and make the properly balanced air conditioning for downstairs. So the way they do HVAC systems is they put all the supplies on the outside walls where you have your biggest energy loss. So where this window is the greatest energy loss. So you have a supply right above it to compensate for that. And then on the interior wall, they have a return. So you have the supply coming in, the return draws the air to the other side of the room, makes it nice and comfortable. So the plumber has run his pipes for the hot and the cold, and then also for the drain, and is almost finished with all the rough work on the plumbing. These pipes, this red and blue pipe, this is a material called PEX. It's a standard that a lot of the builders are using these days because it's a better product in a lot of different ways than copper. Copper, you have more fittings, you have more risk of leaks, more risk of freezing. This has some added advantage to that. Plus, it's cheaper on the labor because it comes in longer spools. They can run it further, so there's fewer fittings. And I was kind of surprised how strong this stuff is. Even though it's flexible, it's actually extremely hard material, and that's kind of impressive. So now that we're done with the interior rough stage of the project and have passed all the rough inspections, it's time to move on to the finished stage of the project. And for those of you that don't know, this is actually the 4th video in a series where we're following one of our projects in Roswell, Georgia, from the tear down of an old house to the construction of a new house. We're about halfway done. So if you have not seen any of the prior videos, we'd love for you to check those out. Keep an eye out for the future videos because now it's going to get really exciting as all the finished details start coming together on this home. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Now that the framing is complete, we're going to move on to the interior rough and all the loud noises that happen. So now that we're done with the interior rough stage of the project, why did I pause? Red leather, yellow leather.